a week.
Just a week.
Hey,
Just a week,
after
man.
medical school, and then Charlie, you're having all the rest in the world. It's a good feeling, isn't it?
In fact, it is. It's been a while since I said my week has been terrible. I've been sleeping. Like, I think I've been bitten by a cheshire fly or something. I don't know. Maybe sleeping sickness.
No, this one we need to diagnose you.
I know.
Paula, what do you think is wrong with
borrow
her?
a consulting room to consult.
What do you think is
to
wrong
check
with
her.
her? What do you think is wrong with her?
I think she's just overly excited that she's done.
How can that?
How
make
can
me
rest be
sleep?
associated with being
Yes,
overly
because
excited?
when you don't have to worry that you're going to read for tests or exams or
Yeah,
things like
your
that,
mind
your
is
mind is
calm,
at peace. So, hey, I know the feeling when you finish exams, especially final year. My God.
Anyway, so these are the ladies I'll be having a conversation with tonight. And of course, we'll be having the popular blogger Kobiche join us in just a moment for this conversation. But ladies, a lot has been happening this week. A whole lot has been happening this week. Now, exactly a week today when Deshay had an accident, and the whole week it's been a lot of talks around when Deshay, people wanting to associate that with the manager, the first person, Ebony, dying out of accident, and now when Deshay come in, you know, all these things and more, and even Bullets, her manager threatening to sue people, you know, over some of these things. How did you receive the message, Bookie?
Yeah, well, when I saw it, I'm like, not again, you know, but I was grateful that nothing happened to her, like she didn't die, you see. But it's normal for people to raise suspicion that, your artist, this one passed through ghastly car accident, and then this one again, another car accident. So I mean, if for any other reason, you should just be grateful that the lady is still alive to tell a story, you know. But I mean, anybody will, you know, it's Africa. If it's maybe the other side of the world, they might not read meaning to it, but in Africa we read meaning to everything. Even if your cat wee on your leg, there is something they might tell you there is a meaning to it or something. So but we are grateful that she didn't pass. I mean, she's alive. And maybe going forward, not only Wendy, every other person that is into that line of profession, travel from one region to another or from one place to another because they have a lot to do, perform, rehearse. So they move around a lot. So they should be careful with their driving ways and all of that. Take precautions where necessary.
Sometimes you want to take all the precautions in the world, but
What
for her,
will be, right?
It was a driver that hit her back. So probably you're taking all the precaution back. You know,
Somebody's
the other road user is being careless
I
or
know.
has something that cannot be controlled
I
and
know.
also.
But we thank God she's alive.
Yeah. And we are told, I mean, Hamda, you are the doctor here. She's going to be flown to Germany. Isn't that Ghanaians cannot take care of her? I mean, finish laughing before you answer.
Doc, over to you.
I don't even get to answer the first question, but anyway, I'm not privy to the kind of injuries she sustained, but I must say, with road traffic accidents, usually you would have fractures, you know, broken bones and stuff like that. You may have injured internal organs where they have to immediately take you to the OR theater and operate on you and stuff like that. If she has to be flown to Germany, my guess is if she didn't sustain severe injuries enough to warrant emergency care, because I mean, how quick could you be flown to Germany, if it was really indeed an emergency? I think the doctors we have in this country are more than qualified, but there are quite a number of reasons why people would choose.
People have lost confidence in the system. Is that the case?
They haven't.
Or probably you think she has
sure they haven't?
her medical team. I mean, there are people who are well-to-do and think that, okay, my doctor is in Germany. I want to go for my doctor to take care of me.
So,
That's true.
So I think it's just an issue of having a lot of, you know, choices to pick from, and so she's probably decided to. She's from Germany, right?
Well, I think she
Is that
was
where she
born
came
and
from?
she lived there for a while before.
So it's only normal for her to want to go back, but you can trust me when I say trust me. Ghana has, I think Africa in general has everything it takes. It's just that people have choices. I mean,
Of course. I know of
Yeah.
an uncle that anytime it's due for him to do check up on his eyes, whatever, he goes to South Africa,
right.
you know, from Nigeria.
Yeah, likewise, there are people who also fly into Ghana to seek healthcare. So once, healthcare is universal. It does matter where you're getting the care from, but then at the end of the day, you get to choose where you want to be. We're only happy that she didn't sustain serious injuries enough to, be a threat to her life and stuff like. If she
Yeah.
did, it would still have to be Ghanaian doctors to attend to her first
Before she's flown
she can
abroad.
even be flown abroad. So one thing I particularly didn't like was that I think Wendy Shea, Ghanaians need to give her a break. Anytime Wendy Shea is in the news and you go through the comments, somehow Ebony's name just happens to
Pop up somewhere.
pop up somewhere in the comments.
I know.
And it's been how many years? I mean, we lost Ebony in 2017 or 18, not quite sure. But either of them, maybe 17 or 18. It's been how many years now? But whenever Wendy Shea is trending, somebody has to trace it and link it back to Ebony. Some
Is it that
people-
we overly believe in superstition? We want to always attach spirituality to some of these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a comment. Someone was saying, "We thank God for her life," and another person replied, "You should thank the car she was driving in," because the person was of the opinion that looking at what the story that was told, looking at the impact the car made on her car, if she was in just any car,
Yeah.
she probably would have sustained more injuries. So the person was like, "Hey, bibini, bibia, namo sinyame." Like the person was trying to say is
In
the
the
car
words
that-
of Chini Jonas, Bibini.
yeah. So I think we're very superstitious or religious people, and so it's not surprising that people would associate. Someone even said it's her karma. You're trying to come and replace it. I was just like, guys, give Wendy Shea a break. Come on. I mean, we're all die-hard fans of Ebony. One thing about people, I mean, I'll relate the story to Mobad. Ebony was being criticized a lot when she was alive, but unfortunately when we lost her, then all of a sudden Ebony became the best person to
And
everybody,
everybody's
so much that,
favorite.
yes, so much that they refused to even accept Wendy Shea years and years after we've lost Ebony. I think that's the similar thing that's happening to Nigeria with Mobad's demise.
But in Mobad's case, it's not like they are condemning another artist for
Hey,
his death.
they are the
No.
Malis, the Malians are
Yeah,
in hot
no,
water.
he's a suspect until proven otherwise.
All right.
Well, there's this very interesting thing here before we get into mainstream conversation. Well, Kobe Che is here and he joins us in just a few seconds. Okay, so Hamda, this one,
Yeah.
we need to tackle it. Let me just read this one. So, the Ghana Statistical Service has come out with this reports. They said women in Ghana paid 34.2% less than men. And this one says, the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that among paid workers in the country, women earn 34.2% less than men. This data, GS has noted, is from the first quarter of the 2022 Annual Household Income and Expenditure Survey. In a press statement released to celebrate International Equal Pay Day, GS has stated that the gender wage gap is lowest among paid workers with tertiary education or more, where women earn 12.7% less than their male counterparts. The wage gap is highest among workers with basic education, 60.1%, followed by workers with no education, 54%. International Equal Pay Day is commemorated annually on 18 September to promote efforts towards the achievement of equal pay for work of equal value. The service noted that among the population aged 36 to 60 years, women are paid 33.4% less than men. But for the age group 15 to 35 years, women were paid 30.7% less than their male counterparts. So when comparing sectors of employment, the gender wage gap is highest in the private informal sector, where women are paid 58.7% less than men. This is followed by the private formal sector with a wage gap of 29.9%. The public sector, where women are paid 10.5% less than men, has the lowest gender gap. Hamda,
Yeah.
what's your take about this one?
So I think what caught my attention is the fact that
Funny
there
enough,
is-
I'm expecting Kobiche. I don't know why Stephen Mensah has just walked into our studio. In any case, Stephen, what's up? Okay, so don't worry, we'll be doing it together. Today, the men are so excited to be amongst us. Don't worry, Kobiche is in the building. He joins us in a bit. But Hamda, let's talk about this one. You know,
Yeah.
women underpaid, 34.2% less than men.
Oh, it's 34 point. Okay, well, it's not much different. And the global gap is 12 point something percent. Recently, I took to liking lawn tennis, and then I got to watch some excerpts of Serena Williams' journey as, you know, a global tennis star, and I got to see that she was actually advocating for equal pay in the US among citizens and even on a global scale. That is when I got to realize that, okay, so this gender wage gap thing is actually real and happening even in advanced countries. And so one could only wonder what goes on in Africa and in Ghana. And I'm not surprised, quite frankly, that the percentage for Ghana is 34.2. What actually struck a chord for me was the fact that you mentioned some age gaps,
Yes.
some age ranges in association with the percentages. And it looked like the younger generations actually had a lower percentage with respect to the wage gap. I think they were in the 30%, and then like those older were in like 34 and above and stuff like that. So it only tells us that things would get better because there may be a generational shift where we attain gender parity enough to see that women get equal pay.
What do we do to bridge those gaps? I mean, I'll be taking your take, but let's welcome to the studio Kobi the Che, the blogger. Good evening to you, Kobi Che.
Good evening.
I mean, you've been all over Cape Coast, everybody posting Kobi Che, Kobi Che. Welcome to Asaase Radio once again. This is your second time here. Yeah. Akwaba.
That's it.
Hey, you look tired. It's been a
Right,
long day for you.
Extremely tired, but I'm super humble to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's good we're hanging out with you. We have a long night, don't we?
A day is like.
Anyway, so Kobi Che is in the building. We before we get into mainstream conversation, well, we did a little talk about Wendy Shea, and now there's a report by the Ghana Statistical Service where a research has proven that women in Ghana are paid 34.2% less than men. So are paid less than that. So that's what we are just talking about. So Hamda, I'll take your take, and then we'll look at how. Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, you asked what.
How do we bridge that gap? You know.
Yes, so I think we have to do a lot of advocacies surrounding that, and also we need to put in policies or laws in place to check all of these things. And I noticed that in your write-ups, it appears the private sectors are the ones that actually have a lot of gap when it comes to the gender wages. Because it's easier to regulate government bodies. If I'm a doctor today, I'm pretty sure the government will be able to regulate it better to ensure that any other doctor who's at the same level that I am will be earning the same amount of money. But perhaps when it comes to private sectors, it becomes more difficult to regulate pay. And one funny thing is that when it comes to soccer, okay, definitely even sports in general, men's sports, they earn more than women's sports. I had this debate with my colleagues some time back. We're arguing as to why. I think there's this female player that was also advocating for equal pay amongst men and women, and we're arguing as to whether women in sports actually merit
It's
equal
interesting.
pay.
I think we need to take a whole night of the show to discuss this topic. Yeah. How do we encourage more women? I mean, what are we doing wrong? How do we do things that attract more pay? You know, it's a very, very important conversation we should look into, because this is from the Ghana Statistical Service. A lot has gone into this research.
I think the stakeholders involved are probably the people that could actually turn things around. If you say women shouldn't accept jobs that don't pay them equally as men, it wouldn't
do so.
work, because people are out there trying to survive. If you told me not to take on a job because a man is earning more than I am, I don't think I'll follow that. And so I think it rests on the stakeholders really to ensure that.
Well, they have a really big role to play. Ade, what's your take briefly?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, all that she said so far. But I think one key point also is that they need to stop, or companies and employers need to stop being gender biased.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's a woman, she doesn't need the money. He's a man, he's the one carrying the family.
Yeah.
I think when they start to separate that, some women out there are actually playing the role of a man.
Because if you qualify for a job and a man qualifies for the job,
why don't you pay her? Pay her the money.
Anyway, that's a very good point. Let me take the take of Kobiche. Kobiche, we are being underpaid as women in this country. What do you think about that?
What men can do, women can do.
Yeah.
Do better.
Do better.
So you should pay us equally.
Exactly. I mean, I'm quite surprised. I mean, it's quite surprising to hear this. I mean, like my beautiful woman said, a lot of like a thorough research has gone into it. I think that it's a sad situation because when you go to Rwanda, they have a policy of pushing women in power and making sure that they pay them very well. You know, for me, I think that women have also got a lot of responsibilities, and so they need to pay attention.
And now some women are running homes. It's not even some.
Yeah.
A lot of women are running homes.
You know,
Most women pay their bills these days.
Stephen Mensah, it looks like you're interested in this one.
I'm not Kakami.
But see, the point is that I don't honestly agree.
Now, speak into the microphone.
I don't agree to this idea of when it's a woman, she should be taken care of well. See, yeah, gradually men are becoming endangered species. They are so. How do I put it?
Put it.
I sometimes feel that sometimes. Yes, you see, it's jumble in my head. I always feel pain when I find, women make their case as though when they work. Yes, because we are all human beings, aren't we? Lately, it is like, okay, now you're talking about it. That men are being paid more than women. So what?
It's a report by the Ghana Statistical Service.
No, I'm saying so what?
So what? So why is it so?
No, if the men are putting in more work, you expect them to.
You think the women go to play when they are given jobs to do?
Go to the mining sector, and go and count the number of women you find in the mine.
Well,
go to areas where there are quote unquote dominantly men jobs. Go and see the number of women who are there. So because women are
maybe you want to make a point that the nature of job determines the pay. Then I will understand.
So you can't really even pay them out because the work that the man is doing, they are more dangerous and risky. So they are paid well, or they are paid better, or the amount is going higher. So I'm saying, look, if you make the argument as though because women and men are all the same, so if the pay grade is being measured, they all should have the same amount of money.
This is a discussion.
One point we must also look at it from is the fact that you are coming from a system where women, quote unquote, some women feels that some work are for men. However, men will be paid well. I think I agree with him because I've seen a video of women in the diaspora driving truck. You understand? Women in the diaspora who are doing work that men are equally doing. But in our space in Ghana, there are some works the women will tell you that they don't want to do it. However, so it means that it's obvious the men are going to get paid because how in our system, how many women? It's only few women that these days I even see them driving the Ayalolo bus and all that. But if I travel across the world, I see women doing equally the same thing. So in this case, the payments they are giving the men, they will also give it to the women.
Count the number of women who are in parliament. How many are they?
Well, we have 12.5 representation of women in parliament.
So you see, because women don't like to work, don't want to get into politics.
Who tells you women don't want to get to parliament?
No, how many women are?
Steve, you know what? I'm so interested in this conversation. I want us to dedicate a full evening for it, so that it wouldn't draw us back from tonight's focus. We really want to go into this one.
This is a full discussion.
Yeah, it's a full discussion, and he knows I'll always argue with him over so many reasons. I think we should move into mainstream conversation today. Well, we are live on Asaase 100.3 Cape Coast, and you are good to join us on Facebook. Hanging out with Adebukola, she's an administrator. Hamdor Pada is a medical doctor, and then Kobiche is a blogger. So, check out the combination tonight. We're looking at the do's and don'ts of modern relationship. I like the way you take in a deep breath and bring it out like, Anyway, so my first question to you all will be that what's relationship and how do you understand the do's and don'ts in relationship? I mean, in opening up our conversation. Ade, what do you think?
Okay, so a relationship first and foremost is when two people or more than two people agree to.
Why do you laugh today?
Because there are some relationships, they are not just two. You know, there could be three, there could be four, but they're in a relationship. But to be serious now, you know, they have an agreement and understanding that they're in a relationship. Yeah. So when we narrow it down to our topic today, modern relationship. Okay, so everything has changed. A lot has evolved. A lot has come to replace some certain ideology, beliefs, culture, and all that. So in this modern day, if you want to define a modern relationship, then it's a situation whereby the parties involved, especially the woman, expect to be heard. There is equality. Equality has to come in place, unlike back then that it's all about the men. You must be submissive. I'm not saying don't be submissive in this modern day, but it's now being
that's your understanding of the do's and don'ts of
no, I'm defining modern relation. I'm defining modern
anyway,
relationship.
I was going to come to that, but anyway, you have already started that.
Okay.
So you carry on.
Yeah, so it's about hearing each other out, respecting each other's opinion. Modern relationship these days, you know, each party, or especially the women, they want to be heard, they want to be respected, they want to be involved, they don't want to be at the back seat or at the backstage or behind the door, you know. So it's a whole different thing these days, unlike when our mothers were getting married and were in a relationship. These days, I wouldn't compare my relationship or my marriage with my mother's relationship. My mom took a lot of things in, and she didn't even blink an eye. Like it's,
but you can't take it in.
It's like it's a cross. You must carry it. But a mother woman, you must find a way out too. You must find a way out.
I like the way you are being real. Hamda, in any case, that's Ade's definition. She's even gone further with defining what modern relationship is. But let's take a look at, you know, what we think are the do's and don'ts in this day's relationship.
You want me to define or list them?
I don't know. We're just trying to open up the conversation.
All right.
So we're talking about the do's or both of them, do's and don'ts.
The last time I checked, you are done.
I want to know so that when it gets to my turn, I know what I'm talking about.
So I think for do's and don'ts of relationships, we could look at it in a general perspective and in a very comprehensive or closed perspective, in that what works for Miss Ade and her partner would not work for Hamda and her partner. So we have things that you can do to actually make the relationship work, and things that are just no-go areas that would crush the relationship.
Okay.
And then we have things that are peculiar to your partner. And so you tailor whatever actions or words that you have towards the specific partner, as well as if the partner doesn't like certain things about you or about your actions, then you don't do them. And so we could have the general ones, and we could have the very, very specific ones. And for that one, I don't know if Miss Ade would share with us
why
the specific.
Definitely we'll get to those. We
that
certainly will
she's
get
using.
to those.
So it's just basically things you do that could make the relationship flourish or crush the relationship.
I like that. Let me come to Kobiche. I mean, do you get worried with our modern day kind of relationship, like our era? The stories we're hearing, the things we're being told, the things sometimes you're seeing things and you want to ask yourself questions. What? Do you get worried? That'll be the question.
You know, before that, I mean, we call this modern. In some years to come, in a different century to come, what we are talking will become older.
That's
Olden,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
I mean, talk about the AI world where anything
so
can happen.
I know.
So I believe that in my own modern definition of relationship, I see it to be flashy than paying attention, critical attention to the relationship. what the two of us are born to create, what the two of us are born to build. Now people are looking at the flashy side of relationship. You know, the flashy side should even be secondly, because you're looking at what you can do to sustain.
So how does the
that
flashy side
relationship.
look like? Can we
The
mention
flashy
some?
side looks like, example, people organizing a huge wedding and then in 2 weeks, divorce. They
And
meet
also,
Oh my God.
Charlie, can you sack this man for me? So that I can share my opinion.
Stephen Coffee
Were
Mensah.
you on the flyer? Were you on the flyer? No, I mean, your producer should answer
Stephen
me.
Mensah.
He wasn't on the flyer.
Kobiche has a question for you. Were you on the flyer?
Please go downstairs. You know, so I feel that people meet for the why is he laughing? The flyer matter.
Yeah.
Because I was even surprised actually, because I know he's very controversial. I don't know why I saw him here.
We have Nana Blue's manager in the building. Or how I
Do you have your security personnel?
Nana Blue, come and pull your manager away.
Get him downstairs. Get down. Get
It's
down.
calling for security.
So,
Oh my God.
you know, he has a lot of relationship past. That's why he's feeling
Experience is
Oh,
it's making
experience,
him
Rob.
itch.
That's
I
why,
can
also
understand.
a book. You know, so let's get serious here. you
Yeah.
know? So I feel that, like you mentioned, people jump into relationship few weeks, then they go.
Yeah.
My dear sister here was talking about I mean, should I say the olden days or
Yeah.
Making
The-
a
the
comparison
past
of her
years.
mom
exactly
and her.
and even my mom and my dad, you notice that even though that system there was some sort of flashy thing, but the central focus was what the two of us can bring to the table to make things work, regardless of what we're going through. But these days, the flashy type, where are we going to have our honeymoon? Where are we traveling to? The best food,
What
the
dress
best
are we
car,
wearing?
Are we
What
buying?
exactly what name are we going to give it to our kids? Big English names. You know?
Last week I chanced on Elon Musk's kids' names. Hamda, you need to check it out.
You know? And those things are flashy and that they are not sustainable. So I feel that even though those things are important, we should think of the commitment first. The commitment. So let's say I'm going to be in a relationship with this beautiful woman. Now I look at you in the eye and I say, baby, even though we are going to travel to the best places, even though we are going to build the best of houses, are we both committed in making sure that the flashy impression that we've given to the people that we had the best of wedding, we are driving the best cars, our children are going to the best schools, are we going to build that relationship that we can call real-time happiness?
I'm excited at how you start the conversation. Can we do a throwback at some of the things our parents used to do
Yes.
and some of the things that we are doing now?
Exactly.
So
I think that will help.
let's try and differentiate between the old and new relationship. Ade, give me about 2 things your mom used to do that you think is a cake. Like we are new, so we're
like,
doing them.
You know, sometimes maybe when my dad is hungry or something and he's all over the place talking and all of that, my mom would just sit in some quiet corner and be crying. And then we'll be petting her like, oh, mom, don't cry. Not like my dad was abusive, but, you know, my mom is that kind of timid woman. May God rest her soul. She's not all out there, like, you know. So that kind of affected me, too, when I was growing up. But thank God that I got exposed in school and all of that. So I came out of that kind of character.
Okay, so you say that you were more confident than your mom.
I would say
Or more
no.
outspoken?
I think like maybe she was being respectful. You know, back then they don't talk to their husbands.
Okay.
They don't talk to their husbands.
That's the point he's coming
If-
to.
Okay.
Even if the husband is at fault, you see my mothers and other wives kneeling down to beg my father. Meanwhile, he's the one at fault too.
Just to create peace. at
Peace.
home.
And I'll be
Okay.
looking like, seriously?
And
You know?
what number was your mom?
Second. My mom was the second.
I see.
So, but these days now, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a bully or I'm trying to downplay my husband's capabilities.
But you won't kneel down.
But no, no, we're not. I will kneel down when I feel that I have to kneel down, like maybe something really is at stake.
Okay.
I will kneel down. Fine. I'm not saying I can't kneel down for my husband. Even our traditional wedding, at a point, you kneel down to give him something. It's symbolic like that. You know, but for me to keep quiet and be crying, I think at some point I might want to voice my opinion. Like, sweetheart, you don't need to talk this way or talk to me like that. I don't think my mom will ever do that.
You know you're right.
I don't think my mom will ever write a book about what happened to her. I did, you know. So there are a lot of things that happened back then that I know that in this modern day it cannot happen.
Wow.
I mean,
Hamda, would you want to do those comparative, those analysis?
I personally can't relate because I didn't grow up with both of my parents, unfortunately. So but I did see my aunts and other members of the extended family, and I lived in a very conservative community in Tamale. Grew up in a Muslim home. Not to stereotype, but when you hear that's North and Islam, you know that it's very conservative, more than you may find in the southern part of the country. And so yes, I did grow up to seeing women not being as assertive as she said, but then yes, there's been changes. I must say there's been changes, but I had boys in my class who would say it's a taboo for the man to walk into the kitchen. And, in a polygamous family, you had to take turns in cooking. And so if today is your mother's turn, you, the kids, help your mother to cook. Tomorrow is the other wife's turn and stuff like that. And for you, the children, you get bossed around by every wife. So whether it's your
so far as you're a product of the man, you should just get ready.
You just get bossed around by every wife to learn how to cook. And so women didn't stand up to men as much. Not to say that they are disrespectful now. I don't. If you want to make peace, I feel it takes two to tango. I mean, you, the man, shouldn't create. You should create a peaceful environment for the woman to also embrace the peace and give it back to you. But if you are going to be acting in that manner, then it's not quite fair.
I see. Kobiche, what be your take? Can we do some throwback? What we used to see and now.
So I think I'll use my parents as an example, because number one, communication.
Okay.
Communication in a sense that growing up, my mom will not. We were not exposed to mobile phones and all that. So you notice that the communication was very powerful. After they are back from work, you see them watching television, holding each other, having real-time conversation and real-time intimacy. But these days, what do we see? The husband is on his phone upstairs. The wife is downstairs.
That is a very clear example.
The children are watching cartoons somewhere.
Yes.
So the whole place is scattered.
Yes.
So that is number one, communication.
It looks like gadgets have taken over our lives.
So now when they close from work, everybody is there doing something. It is literally as if they are not in the house.
A husband was angry with the wife over something. So, they were talking about it, and the wife was like, but I sent you a message on WhatsApp, but we are in the same house.
I know.
Can you imagine?
You have to send me a WhatsApp chat.
Yes.
It's faster. You don't have to get up.
And I think another thing is that those days, even though people knew generally that I need to get a fine wife and a nice husband, it wasn't the central focus. They go into making sure that he's beautiful, handsome, beyond the beauty.
Okay.
What nest? What family is he or she from? You understand? Sometimes they can backdate to know that this person, the family you are coming from, they have some issue. You have to be extremely careful. Yeah. You understand? In modern relationship, Instagram, TikTok, the moment he or she sees that the person is nice looking, gym, body,
6 packs,
marriage material. So I think that the modern relationship don't look beyond the beauty. In the olden days, beyond the beauty, they were looking at character. They were looking at what are you bringing to the table. Again, those days too, what they were doing was the fact that, what should I say? Commitment. Even if the mom has or the mother has 1 cedi, they will make sure that they thrive and push each other. But these days, what do we see? It becomes a competition. I want a woman who is working in the middle class. I want this specific woman. I want this. So there's so much competition in marriages now. True or false?
True.
The man is looking for a lawyer to marry. The man is looking. So even we have some women, when it comes to character-wise and building a family, they are very good. But because they are not lawyers, or because they are not working in the corporate,
Or they are not doctors.
Doctors, you know. And these days, even the parents, the modern day parents will tell you that, hey, make sure you marry a doctor. Make sure you marry a nurse. Make sure you bring somebody who is.
I mean, for some families, they even arrange. So
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Make sure that, hey, we have money. Oh. Don't go to poor. They will come and rely on our richness. So the rich will marry the rich. And there are a lot of facts and figures. Most of them, they will marry and it will crash.
Yeah.
So I feel that in a nutshell, the modern day relationship, like I mentioned from my preamble, the flashy type or the flashy kind of marriage and relationship is taking away the commitment and what goes beyond just the beauty. Because I see you here with your beautiful face. What is
Behind it.
behind the makeup? These days you mentioned Elon Musk. Elon Musk also said that he was going to buy Snapchat to delete it because the ladies are confusing us with the filters. You meet this lady on social media, nice filters.
Yeah.
TikTok, nice filters.
Now we are even doing
Can we have
with
a
the
date,
body and everything.
Now every man is looking for a lady who is in shape so that the wedding day, the traditional outfit will look shapy and all that. Sorry to say, are you going to marry the so they go inside the relationship and then their eyes will open wide. Oh, I was daydreaming. This thing come, and mind you, let me emphasize this, and I know my panelists here and yourself and our listeners who can relate. Relationship, the courtship stage is different from marriage. So all the fantasy, when you marry the person and you take him or her home, that is when you ask yourself, did I pick the right person? Or I was just following the fantasy? So for me, I think that we need to go back and ask our parents. We can't automatically or fully want to agree with them or go back to, but they are the pace setters. So we need to sometimes revisit some of the things they did to keep the bond. Those days, a man can even marry about 5 women and there wouldn't be any fight. This person will go satisfy this man, come back, cook. Evening food, this person is bringing. Afternoon food, this person is. Beautiful marriage. Even today that we are having only one person. There's no traditional marriage.
No,
because
the two are not compatible.
Exactly. The two people, nipa two na we share no cry na watching. One worry no cry. Sisi ampara worry no go left right. Teteno. Na wotum worry phone. Wotum ne one year no phone nyina tena. Ma won nyina yakopɔ be from 111111. But sisi na yakoye two ni mbom no. We can't sustain the marriage. Why? It's because we are not ready to sacrifice and commit ourselves in the relationship, looking beyond just the flash and the beauty, and communicate. Just today, it was so. I don't know. Fortunately, listen to this. I posted this on my Twitter today. Even before you tested me that you want me to come and speak on this matter.
Yeah.
Today I posted. I don't know if you can read it.
Oh, okay.
Just read it after you go to the next one. Just read it out.
Okay, many relationships suffer because both parties are hesitant to initiate calls or texts, leading to communication breakdowns.
The next one.
More relationships have been damaged by inadequate communications than by financial issues or problems with intimacy. And
Yes.
Okay.
You understand? So communication is also becoming another problem. Now one is asking you, who should I test first? I'm not testing first. Ego. Are you a victim? The way you are smiling, you're waiting for him to test you first. If he doesn't test me, I won't test him. You can relate. Ego.
Commissioner, be careful. Don't
I'm talking to you. It is written all over your face. Westlife. It's written all over your face. Please play me that song. You know, communication. Everybody, obi to me this is here. Or transcend the girlfriend by testing. Or say girl and testing on some friend. The lady is waiting for the boy to test him. Or you know, so ego, we have communication. Everything is just scattered all over the place. Oh, anyway. Wow.
I mean, it's interesting the conversation we are having today. And I like what Kobiche brings on board. Hamda, these are a lot of things we are doing wrong. A lot of things we are doing wrong. We've pinpointed so many of the things we are doing wrong. But what are we doing right in this our era? What are the things we are doing right that our parents, our forefathers never had a chance?
You call them that or?
Yeah, she wants to
so I think one thing modern relationships is or are doing right is that they're giving each party nearly equal chances. So before there was, power asymmetry in relationships or marriages where the man is, the head of the unit, and the head means that he was going to, set the rules and probably not take your inputs and stuff like that. I feel we've evolved from that, and for modern day relationships, the power play is nearly equal for some people, and that's a step in the right direction. Women are more assertive, and when you assert yourself well, you communicate better. It's just that actually, when you compare old and modern day relationships, we should have been communicating better now. Now that women have a voice, women are more assertive, there are more avenues or channels of communication. We should, because then women should be seen and not heard. Or they used to have this thing they say about women and children, you should be seen and not heard. But now it's different. And unfortunately, as he rightfully said, ego has come to, distort everything so much that now that we have women speaking up, men speaking up as well, we should have been communicating better. But then, there's this thing about pride and ego and temperament and all of those things. So I think one thing we're doing right is giving everybody equal chance to be an active player or active member in the family. Women also share on the table of decision making. I'm sure when it comes to education, when it comes to housing and whatnot, women do have a say, even though they may not be paying financially, but then they're given the chance to, say something. Another thing I think it's positive is that we're more expressive now. We're more, I feel like we're more expressive. Back in the day, you see people with 10 children, but you'd never see them hold hands. And you start to wonder if they even share any intimacy. And so I feel like modern day is presenting us with so many things to make our relationships work, which intimacy is a very key thing. We talked about the communication. Intimacy also does help relationships work. But I don't know, it's like we're always picking up something and then turning it into something really not helping us. So now we're more expressive sexually, we're more, open to our sexualities, PDAs. Example of being more sexually expressive. Okay, so now people are not shy to display affection publicly. People are not shy to display affection in front of their children. And I don't mean explicit stuff, but then just that show of affection, intimacy, and connectedness. People are not shunning away from that. I'm sure back in the day, a lot of things would have been culturally inappropriate for a woman to express certain sexual prowess. I think modern day men are more accommodating to that side of women. I mean, a man may not judge you if you were a pro at something sexual. I'm sure back in the day, even if you had that in you, you ought to hide it and not appear like a bad person. I feel men are more open-minded today, and they are welcoming of women and their sexual prowess and intimacy, whatnot.
And they explore together.
And they explore.
Bukola, are you a victim now?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, I mean, what will be your take on that one?
Yeah, just to add up to all that's being said, I think
Can you speak into this?
In these modern days, relationship is more open. And then we are allowing room for a lot of changes. We're experimenting with a lot of things and all of that. I know back then, I don't remember hugging my mom. But these days, my children, I don't know where they learn it from. They hug mommy, I love you. I don't know, sometimes maybe to get something from me as well. But mommy, I love you is flying all over the place. But my mommy is the best. But I don't remember growing up and saying all of those things to my mom and all that. It was later, like I said, after school and everything, the exposure that I now, related with her on a different level. Like, she's my mom. There shouldn't be that distance between the two of us. I should be able to hug my mom, joke with my mom, and all of that. So I thank God for that modernity changed my relationship with my mom, you see. As for my dad, we were cool. But because, like I said, my mom was not the wayward kind of person, I had to bring all of those emotions out of her by first showing it to her. And then she warmed up and opened up, you'll see. So we can apply the same to man and woman as well. I think true that wives are able to tell their husband what it is and what is not. Like, I don't like the way you perform in the other room. Can we do it like this? Can we advance? Can we practice this? Can we apply this?
Can we go to the moon and
back? He said, I don't know about the moon and back. Can we see a sex therapist? I mean, I think back then, I don't think a woman would dare tell her husband that, can we see a sex therapist? Like,
you just have to accept whatever
whatever it is they give to you, you will take. You say what?
Did we even have them?
Exactly. So, I mean, a lot has changed, and I thank God for modernity. There are two sides to a coin. Even though modernity, technology, all of these advancements, they have their own side effects, they have their own disadvantages. But when you look at the advantages, though, it has helped in a lot of ways. My children, the way they relate with me, I didn't relate with my parent like that. They are easy to hug me, tell me things. If I am not talking to them in the right manner, they tell me, Mom, why are you shouting? Mom, you are shouting. Or, Mom, I didn't do this, but you shouted at me. And then it brings me back to my senses like, oh, okay, sorry. I'm not so proud to tell my children sorry. When I see that I've wronged them or I've done something to make them feel bad, I tell them I'm sorry. And they said, okay. And I see that they feel good. Unlike me just shutting them up and say, so I'm your mother. No, I don't do that to them. But there are some times that they get on my nerves, really. I don't tell them sorry.
I like the way you say the nerves. It means that
they get on my nerves and I put them in their place.
Don't take care. Anyway, let me take Kobiche's take. I don't know if you have something to talk about with regards to the things we are doing right. But in any case, we are live on Asaase 100.3, Cape Coast, the voice of our land. We're also live on Facebook, Asaase 100.3 Cape Coast. You can join us online and share with us your views, your comments. Kindly share. Let somebody also participate in this conversation. This is What Women Want Show. My name is Ijiba, and I'm here with Adebukola, Dr. Hamdo Pata, and then Kobiche, the blogger that we know. Anyway, Kobi, what do you think we are doing right?
What we are doing right is our communication has enhanced pretty much well, because those days when my dad will tell us that he's traveling, we'll not see his face when he returns. But these days, I can speak to my grandparents through video calls. I will travel and I want to talk. I'll speak to my kids. I'll call the video call. So that connection, even though you are not home, you are always connected with them. If there's something happening, prepaid asa, they can just test you. Asa, first, can prepaid asa, can fiance better email. An email can better. After post office, PO box.
Those like it was postpaid, or you go and pay.
Telephone, this all salary. So the communication has really enhanced. And I think what is also happening in our days is that now we don't actually want to accept that I don't want to marry an airway. I don't want to marry. Those days it used to be let's marry like airway. Even though it's still there in some communities, I think we have moved on.
Of course, there's been lots of improvements in those.
Please, you're in Nigeria,
tribal.
Right?
Yes.
Is your husband a Nigerian?
He's married to a fancy man. Look at him.
Can you imagine? What's then?
Yeah, me I do.
So that is what I'm talking about. But those days, I doubt. An Oyigbo man will come and marry an Ogwa man.
I
woman,
know,
you know?
right?
So now, because of access to information, we kind of believe that, it is nothing. Someone is here, is a Ghanaian, is married to someone from India, you know? So that cultural exchange in terms of marriage and all those stuff has become information, accessing information. So I'll just chip in this story of a guy after senior high school. Are you all listening to me?
Yes, please.
After senior high school, this guy was still a virgin. We went to university level 100, still a virgin. And then he comes to me and I pick the phone. So we're learning and I want to go say the first thing, how to kiss, how to say I love you to a woman. Like he was literally searching everything online. But those days, what were you going to, who are you going to ask that I want to go and propose to madam here? Can you give me, it will be hard.
Okay, so you think the internet has come to help in so many
accessibility, getting information and what to do now.
So now he's reading it and he's going to practice.
Exactly.
Practice what you preach.
Okay, step one.
See
a woman you like. Step two,
yes.
Charlie.
And when you go, it is there. All of them, they are there. Two of us.
Walk to the woman. Look straight into the eyes. I'm sorry, this is not a procedure.
You know?
Do not practice this at home.
I do not practice this at home.
Oh dear.
And you know, fast forward. I was there and he just called me. We were just cracking over these jokes and he said, Charlie, I got my wife pregnant and I needed to announce it to my mother-in-laws. And I went to the internet and said, so take your mother-in-law to the beach, buy her flowers. I said, have you seen? This one you can't relate to. It is different. Gogo doesn't know that you are asking a person from Ghana.
To the beach. Seriously.
Just too much for me. Hey.
Ghana, I will catch the was so there. I am Mobia. After said there was so cool beach. I got flowers. So hi, in-law, I've impregnated your
Oh no.
You know, so that's just by the way. So accessibility, you know, and these days you can never say you are in a relationship and your husband, your wife, they've traveled and you miss, you know, video calls.
No.
Some even go to the extent, I don't know whether it's a good time to say it on air, but buy sex toys, sex toys and all that. Some, their partners, they agree. I'm not around. Just call me on video, have a sex toy.
Yeah.
In the olden days, why is your grandmother going to get the sex toy? I know, but you superstar.
Oh my God.
When you're talking about that, it was when I grew up, I learned that, like, even grew up as a married, then I realized that, okay, in the absence of, honestly, in the absence of your husband or your partner, then there are some options. I never knew growing up.
So now you're aware.
But now I'm sure if you ask a 10-year-old or 15-year-old.
No,
now you've tried.
Tried,
tested, and proven.
I think
Congratulations.
so.
Congratulations, my sister. I am proud of you. Congratulations.
I didn't test. So
you didn't test?
I didn't test.
Are you sure?
I'm just saying now I'm aware.
I have a camera in the room.
Well, away from all these things that we said, it looks as if, well, our generation, we expect so much from each other.
And we do less.
Yeah. We expect so much. And
that's so true.
Sometimes you even think that you really do not deserve what you're asking for. Or you're just trying to disturb somebody's child, somebody's daughter, somebody's son. Because it can be very extreme. Imagine somebody who was earning something around 3,000 cedis, or even 1,000, and you are so much expecting that such a person should be taking care of you, should buy you the latest phone, should take you to the best places to eat, to drink, you know, give you flat. You know, we are copying blindly. Well, maybe I'm talking too much, but what do you think?
You know, they will just send you a picture, a link on social media.
Can you relate?
I can relate, Papa. Like the way you related to mine earlier on. They will send you a link on social media. Can you please check this out? Then you know that matter they can be that. Once you click on the link, when are you buying this for me? You know, so like I mentioned from my preamble again, we look at so much of the flashy things. We don't look at the commitments and how to build the bond, the materialistic mindset of relationship these days is too much, and it has become a burden. That is the reason why a lot of men are single those days. You don't need to have. Our parents were getting married with the little they had. True or false? Ask your grandmother. Ask your grandfather. Your mother wasn't so much into the relationship because your father or your grandfather was driving a Lamborghini. And ask myself, You are giving me pressure to buy you this. Even now that we are not married, have you asked your father? Can your father afford this? Did your father afford this for your mother? You know? So let's preach this. Let's use your big platform to advocate, to educate the young youth in the central region and to the world that, look, relationship goes beyond just the material things. Imagine I can afford you now. I can afford all those things. And then we get into the marriage and then I can't afford it. And it has happened to a lot of people. At the beginning of the relationship, they ask them, maybe can you do this? Because they want to impress. So they will do everything just to impress the woman. That's the reason why people go for loans to do weddings.
Well, I was just going to ask that, could it be a reason, see some of these things we do, could it actually be the causal agent for marriages not lasting these days? Because
but let me tell you something.
Now people are getting married and in the next month, like it's chaotic.
Let me tell you something. If you are listening to my voice this minute, put it at the back of your mind that the happiness is you and your partner and your children. Nobody actually cares about you. The day that I noticed that nobody actually cares whether I have TV in my room, whether I've drank sobolo, whether I've eaten jollof, is when I realized that I have to live my life in my means. So I told my partner, you want to be with me? Let's build ourselves. It is about me and you, not about the world. You tell your fiancé, let's have the wedding. Let's have about 100 people, cute wedding. Let's even go to the... They said, no, my friend had the wedding. It was trending all over the place. So I need all the bloggers around. Can you imagine? So to everybody doing the listening right now, it is about you and your children and your family. At the end of the day, when they do the traditional marriage on Friday, Sunday, church wedding, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, close of that week, the messages will stop coming. Nobody cares. If you are married now, let's say you did your wedding last year, today who cares about you? Nobody literally cares about you like that. It is you that you are giving yourself that pressure. If you meet somebody and the person likes you for who you are, loves you for who you are, knows that you are driving, it is so beautiful to see people who started from the scratch and God keeps blessing them from one thing to the other. You wouldn't want to build someone who is up. It is good if you get somebody who is ready to flash and be consistent with it. Fine. But the materialistic mindset of if you propose to a lady that day, I love you, your own just order the car. What's in the pen? The car. The moment I say I love you, they I love you. Oh, the car. Nigerian.
Did you understand what he said? Like in this modern era, the moment you propose to a woman, then the man is already hitting the bank account or even going to the ATM because the demands that come. Like some people will even tell you they are hungry. Sometimes sometimes women feel embarrassed with some of these things, and you will admit, like every woman who wants to be that, independent or quote unquote that financially independent person who is trying to forge ahead and all that, do not believe in these things. And Hamda, you will agree with me.
Yeah.
Like being explorative is not a thing of every woman.
We should share it 50-50. Ladies in Ghana should learn how when we go to a restaurant, support. If I'm paying for the drink,
I don't agree.
If I'm paying for the drink, I mean, imagine, even if that very day you say that today, honey, I'm taking you out. My conscience will tell me that, oh, you're trying to this today. You want to take out the bill.
Of course.
I had a friend in US. She came to Ghana and said we should go for a date. She invited me for the date too. So I thought she was even going to be the one to pay everything. I'm just sleeping. You called me for a date. We should go out. And then he said, I've taken care of the food. Can you take care of the drink?
Because that's been the culture there.
Yes. But in Ghana, you are paying the food, you are paying food, you are paying for everything.
You said she asked to see you. I don't have a problem paying if I ask you on a date.
But in a relationship, you have to also come in and support. Don't
and
always
ask.
And you
said 50-50.
Yes.
50,
support.
Literally 50-50.
Literally 50-50. Support. I mean, what I'm saying is that...
we've had this 50-50 conversation.
I mean, what I'm saying is that try to also come back to your sense to do that. Oh, my guy always spends on me when we go out. What happens today? Let me also show.
But I think there are more women who are also doing that these days, if you ask me.
I mean, if it's not 50-50, let me also...
Footballers, is it partner? Is it Ronaldo? Yeah, didn't she buy him a car?
Yes. On his birthday. On
You
Ronaldo's
see,
birthday.
so there's nothing.
No. Buy me car. Take me to the nice places. Stop always allowing me to take you to the nice place to buy you all the nice shoes.
Oh no, I feel
And on
if
my
a
birthday, you
woman,
buy me boxer shorts.
if a woman is financially capable,
Because men hardly change their boxes.
oh, if,
Oh, nobody can relate to
guys,
this.
if a
Nobody
woman,
can
Are you
relate.
really saying that?
if a woman is
No.
financially capable, there's nothing wrong with doing those things, especially if you're in a relationship. For me, I see any woman who wouldn't do that as stingy, because women, when we love men, you see it. You see it. We don't mind spending
Oboka,
on.
you can
on
use
men.
yourself as an example. What do you do?
Yes. So for, I mean, I don't like going back to my past relationships.
Presents you don't have. You are single now. Present, you are single. Present. Oh,
How do I answer that?
are you single
I'm
now?
not on a hotspot. Yes,
You're on hot
yes.
seat.
Currently, I'm not in a relationship.
Okay,
But then back then, I
but do
wouldn't
you have
mind.
money?
She's a
Oh,
doctor.
Okay.
Please, I
You have a doctor. You have
Did I
no.
start? So she
you
has
have a
money.
doctor. You have money. Okay.
Oh,
I'll put my
Hamda,
proposal on the
don't-
table.
worry.
So I'm saying that
Please
it's,
talk some for me.
it it shouldn't matter if a girl, is buying something or spending money on her man. Some of the reasons why women don't do it is because they think it affords you the luxury to, spend on other women. I mean, I've seen market women being interviewed I think a year or so back, and they asked them,
I see
they
that.
asked
Yeah,
them
I see that.
if
Yesterday
they
I
would
chanced
use
on
their
one.
money at home, and they're like, no, there's no way. Every money they earn in the market is their money, because if they give some of that to their husbands, then they'll go and chase other women. So that and we can cite examples of such happening, but it doesn't represent every man. Of course, it doesn't hurt to be nice to your man if you can afford
Yes.
it. It really
And I
doesn't.
think environment also plays a role. Environment and where we grew up from. You know.
And maybe the expectations. Sometimes we go into relationships setting unrealistic expectations. Everybody's trying to be that perfect person, and because the man is set to be the provider, and so the only way you can appear appealing or you can appear as a very likable candidate is when you appear responsible, and that comes with your finances. So even if you can't afford, you portray portray that to the woman, and to her you are never in need. Some women don't think their men don't have money, to the extent that when she asks and you say you don't have money, then she interprets that as you don't love me anymore. You're probably giving the money to somebody else. And so sometimes the unrealistic, you start dating, you're taking her to places you can't sustain it. And so it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem when you can't maintain that lifestyle.
Wow. So, I mean, with all these things that have been said, Hamda, what should a man do?
You are tired.
What should they
Ultimately,
do?
ultimately, the reason for these do's and don'ts in modern relationships is for us to know the wrongs we are doing, the rights we are doing, keeping the rights, trying to better it, and trying to improve on the wrong.
Yeah.
So, what should a man be doing?
So I will always start by saying that in our part of the country, I feel we have relationships as though we're married. Relationships have become way too exclusive. The only different thing is that my family and your family haven't met yet. Some people are even cohabiting. Well, some will tell you it helps. It helps. It helps bring out whatever attitudes you get to learn. But trust me, people who cohabit, they will see attitudes, they don't move out, they're still in it, and then they go ahead to marry. You see, you have to leave some ambiguity, a positive one. There has to be something you haven't tapped yet in your spouse. If you live like you're married, you realize that a day after your wedding, it's really nothing new. It's really nothing exciting. You don't feel like you're on a different journey. And so we date so exclusively that we don't even give each other space. So you are stuck on this person. Even if the person has red flags, you want it to work because you've invested time, you've invested money, because of how exclusive you actually lived in the relationship. And so you just go on to say, okay, no, not everybody is perfect, so let's just live like that and go. Again, if you're not as exclusive with a person, you tend to maybe not build a strong bond enough to make the person want to make the relationship work. So it's like a very subtle play in between. My auntie would always tell us that date different men, and when her definition of date is not relationship, like intimate and stuff like that. She's like, go out with those people and then get to see whom you are more compatible with.
Please take that again. I'm sending to a friend. You said your auntie said what?
I said my auntie would always tell us to date more than one man, and her definition for dating is not being intimate with them. She thinks you should keep a number of men who are interested in you as friends, and then get to see whom your priorities align with, whom you are compatible with, whom you can compromise on their flaws, and then probably tailor your attention to that particular person. However, if you're doing very exclusive kind of dating, like you're married, you're not likely to experience other people. I have a friend who dated just one guy, got married, and that's all she knows. And she's struggling a bit because she's not really experienced other people. And I don't mean intimacy. I just mean trying to experience what it feels like to deal with other, prospective suitors. And so you go into it with a narrow mind, and then when things don't go well, you tend to struggle.
In a nutshell, don't worry, you're single.
Exactly. That is true. That is very true. Honestly, that is very true.
Don't worry, you're single.
But because of how we see relationships, it's like, some people are paying school fees, hostel fees. People are feeding women. Women are cooking,
Monthly
cleaning, and
stipends
scrubbing, going to their future in-laws' houses.
They've opened bank account together.
Exactly, and renting together.
They're paying the same rent apartment.
Yes. Meanwhile, you're not married. I feel like that's just too much.
Thank you. Give me 5. you have to write a book. You should be a relationship coach. Well done.
Well, I mean, those are some practical, intelligent, deliberations we're having in studio. I know you're there and you admit so well to some of the things that we've been talking about. Well, that was Dr. Hamdo Pata. I'm here with Adebukola Kobiche. And my name is Ejuba. We're live on What Women Want show. Remember, by 8 p.m. we'll be done with the show. In a couple of minutes, I'll be activating the phone lines for you also to share your view about what we've been talking about so far on the show. But Kobiche, we're talking about what we're thinking that the men should do right. Ade, do you have one to add about what the men should do right, or I can go to the man in our midst?
I think the men should learn to respect their women, respect their opinion, disconnect to connect, give them space to be, like she said, if you are not married to her, you've not paid a dowry, you've not gone to the parents, why claim ownership and all of that thing and not give her
and not allow people space
you
to come
understand
around.
that kind of thing.
You want to jump on the neck.
I know.
I'm speaking for some women now.
And you're hitting it on the nail. So that's what I will have to read though. The men should not feel entitled to a woman when they've not done the necessary. Don't say because you are paying her bills or this, that, but you have not even signed. You've not gone to meet the parent. You've not paid the dowry. So anything can happen. You're on your own. That's it.
I see.
Kobiche, does this work vice versa? I really want to ask her if that goes vice versa.
Yeah. Thank you.
For the women.
Yeah, should the women feel entitled?
The women should not as well. I mean, I never, when I was single, I would never come to my boyfriend's house and wash your undies or do things like that.
You are saying it as no, you are saying it in the negative. Like, should the woman feel entitled to the man ownership?
Like, this is my man.
Question where are you? Who's
that
this girl?
question is only the man that can make you feel entitled. Am I right?
Some women also.
But there are men they'll make you feel a such when you get close to them and when you're together. But they're still living their lives.
For me, I feel that if the man
more than the men.
Yeah, but if the man doesn't give you that opportunity,
we want to be expressive. We want the world to know that.
You come for the weekend and you leave your clothes. Next thing you know, your entire bag
Yeah.
Your entire
But
bag is in the man's
what I'm
house.
trying to say is that if the man doesn't give you that opportunity,
Okay.
you understand? It's when he allows you that space, that you can feel that, oh, he's my man. If in public he doesn't acknowledge you to be his woman, what can you do? Why you are there claiming ownership and he's not
Well,
acknowledging?
it's funny, but I
Do you
want to find
understand
out.
what I'm
I want to
saying?
find out from Kobiche. What
Yeah.
should women do? What do you think we should do different from the things we are doing now?
You said what the men, now the women.
Yeah, I mean, we are done with the men. I wanted them to speak it out. Now you are the man here. What are you
So-
expecting women of today to do?
Women of today is what I would say is that they shouldn't go in a relationship with the mindset of going to drain the man financially. You feel me? Doctor, why are you laughing?
They said,
you go
don't
downstairs.
be parasites.
I know.
Sucking breath.
You know, some women will come and parasite
God.
with that you not even noticing. You understand?
So they're great in that, right?
Yes.
There are some with PhD. There are some
Hey.
with masters, double
So
masters,
sit upon it and
degrees.
I can't love you, then I
Okay.
So I think that what I would say is that my piece of advice or my 2 cents on this matter is, if you're a woman and you're listening to me, make sure that if you go in a relationship, don't create that perception that you are coming to milk me. I don't know why doctor keeps laughing.
But that's an interesting statement you're making.
Yes. Because from the onset of the relationship, like you rightly said, it should be open. However, there are some key things that a man wants to notice from a woman before he can finally decide that I want to marry this person. It was trending on TikTok. A man spent so many years with a lady, but the one who came recently, he left the older one, went in for the new one, and it was trending on TikTok. And the guy explained that, all this while I was just watching you. You never respected me. You said that the men should respect women, vice versa. The woman should also respect, because every day we keep saying that it's the man in his mind knows who to marry when the day comes. And you've heard that statement.
Yeah.
A man can be in an open relationship with 3 or 5 girls, but when the time is due to settle down, we know who to go.
But why do you men do that? Why do you
We
deceive
do
the
that.
women?
No, we do that because when you were coming, you didn't also give us the impression that you were coming to build a better relationship with me.
Okay, so it's about who gives you that impression
Yes.
and gives you that signal that, hey, I'm
Look,
ready
I can
to die
build,
for
I
you.
can build a future with you.
Okay.
And building a future with you is not sex position. It's not the favorite sex position. Open your ears and listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking to you. Building a future with a woman, I mean,
I don't know why, Komiche, you tried to attack me. I mean,
why are you from
certainly
Abuja or Lagos?
building a future is not sex position.
No, so
from
a
Lagos.
lot of women probably would think that, oh, if I give this man the best of sex,
Yes.
he's
Then
gonna
we are
keep me-
building the future.
Hey!
We are digging, putting on the
can give me
foundation.
cross pollination. If I say, oh, marry you. So, you know,
And that is where women get
Peace.
pained because they are giving in their all, like giving
Give
you
your all.
everything. That is what.
then you go and give me a beachside position.
That's what people. That's why people will go
So,
Kirsten and
so they're all in what
their
sense?
what comes in.
So they're all in what sense?
I mean, I'm just speaking out of what you said. So some women think, okay, I think I'm in love with this person. Oh, let me just give him all he wants so that he doesn't go away.
You know?
Some women actually have mercy on men, but it's a wrong thing. I want us to really emphasize on that.
I can
You cannot
confidently,
say
you know,
you are having mercy on a
but
man
I can confidently
who wants
say
to
that.
sleep with you.
You know, but apart from the sexual pleasure, I should be able to sit back quietly as a man to ask myself, what is this woman also bringing to the table? And these days, that is what is happening. Gone were the days. Probably the man is a farmer, owns a lot of properties, and he doesn't care what the woman is doing. Those days, men were marrying women who were not working, housewife. That is where we had the word housewife. They are just there because they feel that they are billionaires or they are millionaires, so they have money. These days, most of our guys are asking the question, if I marry this woman, what is she also bringing to the table, apart from the beauty, apart from the sex position? will she be able to take care of my home? Home in what sense? To raise my children when I'm not there? Because there are some women, they love party to the extent that every weekend they will leave their children. Their 1 month old baby, they will leave the baby and go and party. Forgetting that the lifestyle of, this is a different ball game altogether. So I feel that women should be able to know that I am going in this relationship to help build a family for generations after generations. Not the mindset of just going to the fact that bear money will scar. And I said, bear money, you say, bear money, you say. And again, don't go in a relationship because you feel, say, Nipani or your star. And also, a lot of women have been disappointed. And I think it also goes back to what you said. You have to be realistic. Don't show the woman. Say, and this goes to my men. Because sometimes what you put out there, the picture you paint out there will attract the kind of woman.
I'm also lost. It's a typical tree.
Yeah, so you inform by your bow. No. On pen one sem like on your high time. Okay. On your high time, let's go to the best restaurant. Or if you give her 1 cedi, she's okay.
She's okay.
Let's go and eat banku with tilapia. You inform her. But I think that some men will tell me, sometimes we put the pressure on ourselves. You go and rent your friend's car to attend someone's wedding, looking that this is your car. If you go to the party, you get to the slave.
Because they are there waiting for you.
Let
me activate the phone lines now. So I'll get on board this conversation. You can call us on 059 388 2652. 059 388-2652. This is Asaase Radio, and tonight's conversation, we are finding out whether the do's and don'ts of modern relationship. Well, what are we doing wrongly? What are we doing right? How are we trying to better our lives with that? So it's on 059 388 2652. 059. You can also send a WhatsApp chat on the same number, 059 388 2652. I was going to ask you, it looks as if people really fall in love with people because of material things, like in this our age, because we are all looking at
driving the best car.
But let me talk to this first caller. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening. Please move away from your radio sets. Move away from the radio sets. Let's have a conversation. Okay. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Stephen Okobe-Inkum, and I'm calling from CNC District, Notola.
Oh, okay. That's great to know. Steve, I believe you've been listening to us from the onset. Is that the case?
Yeah, and I agree with what the man is saying. Because,
well, that's Kobiche.
Yeah, Kobiche. Because there are a lot of women, they like casualties, and at the same time too, and let's say if you ask a certain woman passing by, maybe I love you, then you start saying, then you have to buy me credit. That's the first time. You said, buy me credit.
Have you experienced that before?
Yeah.
Oh, you sound like you've experienced that.
Yeah. So I'm agree with the other man with what he's saying. I'm agree. So that's what some of the women should do. You understand? So I think that is my conversation I have to say, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Steve, for being my first caller. Well, you can also call on 059 388 2652. Miss Yafan Pocho, what's Winjay? But you need your number, change credits.
Have you noticed that these days the men have to even pretend to show the other side of them to see whether the lady is being realistic or is not coming just because of the man's money? So now these days, Charlie, the men, they have to pretend.
Well, we have another caller. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Oh no. Please try again. It's 059 388 2652. 059 388 2652. Well, like I was asking you, it looks as if it's been a transactional thing. People look out for those things before they want to actually enter into a relationship. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, my dear.
Hi, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abu Mensa.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in Takwa side.
You are where?
I'm Asaase Takwa, please.
Takwa.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great to have you all the way from Takwa. Anyway, please, what's your take about the conversation so far?
My problem is sometimes if I have one of my brother in prison, if you tell a woman that you are in prison, the woman will like him again. I always think about that. Why? Why the woman do it like that?
Like, because you've been in prison, they don't want you? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You're telling them the reality and they don't want to accept it, right? That you've
Yes.
been in prison. Oh, okay. All right, so we'll judge you on that. I don't know what to say to that, but it's unfortunate. But what's your take about the do's and don'ts of the modern relationships we are seeing today?
But what you are saying about the relationship about the woman and what the guy was talking is true, because some woman, and I have one of my friends do that before. He even go and borrow money to someone before he get married the woman. And it happened in Accra, at Station Nongwa.
Okay.
So that's been a problem for the guy later. It was serious.
It's very serious. Abu, we appreciate your time with us. Anyway, he called us all the way from Takwa. It's good to know we having listeners from Takwa. You can also call, it's 0593882652. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
Hi, great to have you. Please move away from your radio set. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Williams. I'm calling from Cape Coast.
Great to have you, Williams. Hope you're doing well. Which side of Cape Coast are you?
I'm Paydu.
Paydu. All right. So what's your take about what we've been discussing so far?
Actually, I thought ladies of nowadays, these are generation, and they have different mentality. They carry different lessons, different message. You see? Some of them, when they are coming into relationship, they are coming into relationship with a high expectation, and that is why I see that marriages are not working. Firstly, before you grow into marriage stage, then you must pass through relationship, I think. But looking at the characters in which the ladies are bringing in, it's not favorable at all.
I say, Williams. Have you been shown by one of these women? One of these women you're talking about? Can you relate?
I've got different experiences when it comes to relationship. I've got different experiences.
Okay.
But today, yeah. So I some time ago I was heartbroken. I know what I went through. It wasn't easy at all. Easy. Sometimes in my life I was in love with a lady, and then she broke up, with me, and then she aborted my 4-month pregnancy and went for another guy who has a car, just because of my financial stability.
Wow. She aborted your pregnancy and went for another guy who has a car.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So how did you find out she aborted your pregnancy?
Oh yeah. She was 4 months old pregnant before the breakup happened, and I tried as much as possible to make sure we iron the whole issue out, but it wasn't working.
Sorry to hear, William. Thank you for sharing.
All right,
Thank you so much. That is quite a strange.
Trust
Because
me,
of
we
the
are not
car.
all like that, okay?
Oh no. Anyway, 0593882652. I don't want to get so emotional. 059388.
Really?
Say, Jiva, you're sounding emotional already.
I mean, I'm just imagining,
I know,
somebody
that's
doing
so
that
sad.
to you.
Because of a car.
Because of a car.
That's
What's the
his
state of
side
the car
the
now?
story.
I want to
I
understand.
want to. And what
Thank you
type
so
of
much.
car?
Do we put Annie in that car?
What came
or-
to my
is-
mind is what type of car?
Anyway,
That is one side of the story.
Well,
So
we need to see
can't
the other side.
comment on that.
Dog.
Yeah.
let's talk to the scholar. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Cape Coast. Specifically, I'm currently driving towards Ankapoto. I'm around 84. I'm Councillor Forster.
Okay. All right. So you've been listening, I guess. What's your take about what we've been talking about, and what do you think?
Yeah, so my first take is that I think that ladies go into relationships based on what they find in the environment. So the environmental stuff that is influencing the thinking of today's ladies, and it is not only ladies, we, the human beings within that space. What we project is what we get.
You know, I'm smiling to this because, like I'll tell you, I don't mean to tell you what you're saying is wrong, but some parents will be of the view that, hey, like I've actually nurtured my child into bringing a very responsible person to our home, and so a mother or a father will not directly talk to you that, well, these are the things to look out for. But you as an individual, you have learned and know that this is what your people. So in that case, wouldn't you look at the environment or the person you're going to bring home?
So, like I'm saying, maybe when I end, you might get what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that they are likely product of the environment.
Okay.
What we get is what we give. So, whatever the lady is demanding from a guy is what the guy probably is projecting. And most of it is what is influencing the lady's understanding. So we guys should be careful what we are communicating, whether overt or overt. So we attract what we actually go for. What we project is what we attract. So if a lady is demanding, it means possibly the guy is communicating in a manner, in a way that is actually making the lady think that he or she, he has that resources. So we should master the courage to change the narrative if we don't want the ladies to be demanding so much.
Okay. I think I get your point now.
You are doing all kinds of things, and you are dressing in all kinds of ways. You are renting car and then visiting this lady, flashing things around, renting and borrowing stuff in your room. And then when the lady comes to see and he begins to now place demands on you, you think that the lady is being irrational. No, the lady is responding to what she is actually seeing in her face.
Exactly.
So we guys should be rational. We should live the life that we want the ladies to see. Then the other part would be maybe certain friends and other things that might have influenced the ladies certain thoughts. And so certain ladies have certain kind of mindset towards what relationship actually entails. And I like what Kobiche has been drumming all along.
Okay.
Most of the things that we demand, sometimes we don't even need them. We are living in a materialistic world. Just a few days, it's gone. We don't need them again. So men want women who are futuristic, who think more future in terms of marriage than just the fanfare for today. So if you want to be a marriage material, one of the things that you need to do is build yourself into a woman that thinks more future. And when we talk about thinking more future, we are talking about somebody who gives value to yourself. Somebody who is not just becoming a dependent person, but somebody who is an independent person.
Yeah.
And often, in my line of work, I see ladies who are often abused are ladies who have not learned to master the skill of independence.
Okay. What work do you do, if I may ask you?
I'm a counselor.
Oh, okay. More so.
Yeah.
More so. I think I appreciate your time and your great contribution to this one. Thank you so much. Kobiche says hi. Thank you for your call,
Thank
sir.
you. I'm grateful. Wonderful show. Next week we will also follow again.
Amazing. Thank you. And I hope you're at your destination now, Ankafu.
No, I'm driving currently on the highway at the switches.
Okay. So say hello to all the Ankafu folks. Thank you for your call. Well,
Is it the Ankafu Hospital?
yeah, he's driving towards the Ankafu Hospital.
Is it a mental hospital?
Yeah, that's the enclave. That's Ankafu.
I visited with the one that's Pram Pram. Is it Pram Pram?
Pantai.
No, Pantai.
Pantai.
Most of the women, they're broken heart.
Yeah.
Kobiche, that's an-
I've worked there for like a month.
Yes,
Wow.
I visited there, and almost literally all the young girls I saw, they having mental challenges with relationship issues.
Wow.
Relationship issues, oh.
Yeah, some more.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you, what are some of the things that you don't want to do to somebody you claim you love? Like, let's take
I thought we were going to talk about the material stuff.
Yeah, but aside those things, there are, when you love somebody, you don't want to do certain things to the person. Can we pinpoint on those?
On what?
The things you wouldn't want to do to the person you claim you love.
You don't want to overburden them, if I may come in.
Yes.
You don't want to overburden them. That's not love. I mean, like Kobe has been saying, it should be a two-way thing, Don't just relax and sit and say, my wife should do everything, my husband should do everything. You understand? Or don't say, oh, my wife is rich, she can afford. At least once in a while, pull up surprises. Surprise her, gift her, and, pamper her.
Vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. You don't want to overburden. You don't want to play with people's trust. When you're when you say A, let the person make it A, not B. You understand? Because when you start to have issues with trust, then the relationship will not be, an interesting.
Well, I think I can pick a final caller. So 0593882652. 0593882652. Well, it's been a very great conversation so far. Would you say you love what the callers have been saying?
No,
yes, especially the last man.
I wanted to know
I absolutely
because of the fact that the man said materialistic. Doctor.
No, I feel like the conversations have been skewed. Okay, it's whenever there's relationship, then everybody turns a blind eye to the things that men do.
Hamda, we have the final caller. Let's see who the person is. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, I'm back again.
Oh.
Yeah, so I wanted
30
to say
seconds,
that,
please.
yes, this Councillor Fortin.
Can we do that briefly, please?
Yes, I wanted to say that it's not actually meant for one particular person. Hamda made that statement, and I wanted to reiterate it. That when we talk about dating, the focus is not intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
she said the auntie used to advise that make friends, go on different dates, get to know people, explore people, and then you know who the person you actually will want to live with is. Probably amongst them or yet to meet.
That is the essence of dating. Because we have 7 levels. And so the pure essence of dating is to try and see if the chemistry will work. If there's anything that can work. So you don't have to focus on just one person. No. You can do variety. Just to find out if you have a chemistry that can work between these people. Then if you think about moving to the next step, then you begin to now segregate.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's unexpected advice there. He's a counselor and he's come back again on that one. So, I believe I cannot pick any more calls. We're talking about things we cannot do to people we claim we love. And Ade was trying to talk about trying to burden those people. Any other thing to add or we move on?
Okay, so I don't continue from where I okay.
All right, Hamda, you take it away.
Yeah. I don't agree with. Well, they're sharing their experiences, and so I can't fault them on that or challenge what they are saying. But then I don't like the way whenever we talk about relationships, then everybody is talking about how today's women are materialistic and stuff like that, as though the men remain perfect in whatever relationship that's going on.
I mean, no.
That's
See,
not
from
what
the
it says.
onset, all the callers have shared their experience about women and money and stuff like that. And then I just want us to understand one thing here. Material things, if there's anybody that likes material things, it's not a bad thing. I don't see anything wrong with a girl that likes material things and then you tag her as materialistic. And here's my reason why. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of double standards here. Men would jump at anything that has to do with them being the leaders, the providers, and whatnot, claiming alpha male and all those stereotypical roles. as soon as they meet a woman who wants to fold her arms and say, okay, then provide, then it becomes a problem. See, he's mentioned that they're questioning what women bring to the table and stuff like that. I don't know if you mean in terms of finances, because since time immemorial, there's always been the question of what a woman brings to the table. Some will go as far as looking at fertility in your family to see if you could actually mimic that. People will go as looking at your wifey duties, how you cook, how you speak, how cultured you are, and all those things. So those days, those were the things you brought to the table. And today's men are saying, okay, now we don't just want that. We want to see that you're futuristic. We want to see that you are financially independent and you can hold the post if things go south. And I feel like that's just placing too much demands on the woman, in quotes. I'm not saying women shouldn't be all that. But then if you claim to be someone who's going to be at the forefront providing and leading your family, then every woman has every right to test you by those standards. As to whether it's fair, yes. It's just like, you see, this wife material, when you ask men, what is wife material? Is a woman who is respectful, willing to submit, can cook, can clean, has showed that she can raise children and whatnot. But who is a marriage material when it comes to men? Society will tell you that is a man who can provide. And so do not falter me if I want to test your ability to provide. And when I say test, I don't mean
how do you test? I mean, we are.
You see, when
we are in a marriage. We are in a marriage already. So how do you test me?
No, we're talking about relationships leading to marriage. Oh, I mean, people said
so
you
this
meet
is not
the
marriage.
girl.
So you're not talking about marriage. You're talking about
before you marry someone, they have to check your boxes. Okay. They have to check your boxes before.
So you're talking about relationship before marriage. Okay.
I'm talking about relationship before marriage, and even those roles continue up into marriage, because when you marry, you assume the role of the man and you assume the role of the provider, and then just as you would demand certain things of your wife when it comes to domestic chores, as per the stereotypical roles we have in our setting, the woman also has every right to make demands of things that are stereotypically your roles. I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. And so when people tell me women and men should go 50-50, me, I would always say, if we go 50-50, it will be disadvantageous to you, the man. Because if I earn more than you, then you've lost the game to begin with. Because I can provide my 50, you might struggle to provide your 50. And then when it comes to domestic chores, because of how we're both socialized, I might excel at that better than you. I might be able to prepare the best of dishes better than you as a man. I'm not saying men don't know how to cook, but if we're looking at the numbers, and so I really, it's ridiculous to me when women make demands financially.
On the fire, I saw feminists.
It's
she's a
ridiculous
feminist. She's an advocate for women.
When women make financial demands and then they are.
If I don't read the messages that are in, people will come and hold my neck. Let me say good evening to Shirley. Shirley Lada Institute is our very good friend. She says, so these days the guys always want the women to share costs with them, yet they still want to be seen as the in charge. Again, she says these days there's a lot of packaging in the system and transcends through relationships as well. So many external influences, positive and negative. People pretend to be what they are not and therefore attract what their fake lifestyle depicts. So the do's, be real. If the other party doesn't appreciate the real you, then move on. The don't, never begin something you cannot sustain. Shout outs to sisters and congratulations to the latest doctor in town.
Who's that? Thank you
Shirley.
so much.
All right, so let me go on Facebook. Junior says, Peter watching live anyway. Hi to you, Junior. Israel Ike Amemo Tepe says, I don't know what the represents. And again, he says, you guys are doing well, from Israel, from Akosombo. The eyes of Ghana. Akosombo is the eyes of Ghana. I didn't know. Akosombo Kenya.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one.
Anyway, it's good to know you're watching us from Akosombo. Michael Dufe Anand says, Kobe, we are in another generation. Modernity is not in those days. Push hard. Asaribedia Akwado says, wow, interesting conversation. I love it. So, I mean, these are the few messages I can read for now. Thank you to all those who took time to type messages on our platform. We need to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. So, in wrapping up on the conversation tonight, we've said a lot about the do's and don'ts of modern relationship. Like I said, obviously, we're looking at, okay, we've done well, so how do we sustain this? How do we better it? And the wrongs, the don'ts. What will be our messages to our listeners out there, to the young generation, to our new era? What can we do to make life better for ourselves in the world of relationship?
So going forward, we should learn to be independent, like learn to do things for yourself, at least to some extent. Learn to take care of your own self as well. Don't depend on other people for your own well-being and happiness and whatnot. Don't think that getting into a relationship or going to a marriage means that you are free from paying your own bills. It's not like that, because like I said, you overburden your partner. It should be a partnership thing. We meet halfway, and then the issue of trust, make sure that the trust is there to some extent. The person can vouch for you, like, oh, my wife, I know her to this. My husband, I can say, he can do this, but he can't do that. That kind of thing. Then communication too is very key. We need to take communication very serious. Like Kobe said, these days, I'm guilty of it. Most times when I get back from work, I'm in my room tired, on my bed, I hit there, and then I tell my kids, come take my bowl away or my this, that. And I'm there, it's in the morning, and I'll get to see clearly what is happening.
So you get hypnotized during the day.
I'm telling you, in the night,
work.
I get home, eat and sleep.
Confession galore.
Where's your husband?
My husband is there on his laptop or on his phone. And so it's getting crazy by the day. So we need to put in that effort. We need to be intentional about intimacy, about communication, about raising family, about talking to each other and getting response.
So like when you get home and you're tired, you want your feet to be touched and all that, right?
Sometimes,
I'm that.
Yeah.
That's a married woman. That's a married woman saying this. Anyway, let me find out
from a single lady.
So today is not like 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago, where if a woman comes of age, there's the likelihood that her first relationship is marriage. If a man comes of age and has a responsible job, then they, marry someone for him. These days, before you get married, you would have dated, a number of people. So we need to learn to understand that people are different. You leave the past in the past. Some people move into new relationships still holding on to the past, whether good or bad, of their partners. If you dated someone who was wealthy enough to spend on you, and you met a new guy who isn't, financially capable to spend that much on you, it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It doesn't tell a story that the previous person loved you more than he did. And so we have to learn that in as much as we're shuffling between partners, you have to leave the past in the past, whether good or bad, and be ready to face a new, life with the new person. And I'd always say this: there's somebody for everybody. Look, finances, until we switch gender roles, until God snaps his fingers and says, okay, now women, you are providers, men, you are the ones to nurture, there's always going to be that financial demand on the man. Unfortunately, some are unreasonable, some I think are reasonable. I feel like there's somebody for everybody. You just need to find your person.
Like my friend would say, chance numbodo.
Exactly. Someone is demanding a car, someone just wants 1 CD to pick the yellow things to go to wherever they want to. So just find your person and embrace
cut your
it.
coat.
If you say that will be condescending, find your person.
I'm trying to push you, but she said
Find
no.
your Find your person. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap up with Kobiche. Kobiche, we've had a very fantastic evening.
So this will be my last words too?
Yes.
Oh.
You want to go on?
We've had 2 good
I'm a
hours.
special guest, so give me 1 hour. First of all, I want to say
Don't worry. After I'm done, he will bring you what men want.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
One
for
of these
having
days,
me.
I have to let you host us.
Yes. Hi. So the way I go push this lady. I I'll push her to the wall.
He will murder us in the studio. But anyway, let's take a final word.
Thank
to
you
wrap
so
up.
much for giving me the opportunity. I mean, you heard I was in town and you said no, I had to be, and it's been. I'm just having fun here.
Yeah,
you
I know.
I'm having fun and nice to meet.
Ade
and Doctor
Ade.
Yes. What are you going to Lagos? No? So I'm happy to be here. So my few words will be, I think that don't try to keep your past relationship to the next one. A lot of people are in a new relationship and things are not moving well because they still have the past harbored in them. Meanwhile, the person you are dating currently is different from the previous one. So let's try to embrace new environments, because the fact that you went through so much breakups and so much, now people don't allow themselves to embrace or make love with new people because of what they went through. So let's try and be open up and try to embrace new lovers and new partners. The next one will be, I have a brother who's from the States. He came with me from Accra, and he has a new salon in Accra. So anytime you come to Accra and you need a barbering shop, yes.
I've been trying to dye my hair for
So anytime you come to Accra,
Let me say good evening. Yaniba says hello.
Hey, Yaniba.
Yanis, what's up?
I didn't want her to know I'm in town. You know? Big shout out to you. God bless
Yanis
you.
Kobite says hi.
Yeah, so the One Hair Salon, anytime you come to Accra, the One Hair Salon,
Where's,
it's just
which
5
location
minutes,
is
5
that?
minutes. SCC, inside SCC,
Oh, okay.
DVLA, SCC, just 5 minutes, I think, drive from the West Coast Mall. Go inside. It's one of the best salons I've seen in Ghana. I've traveled across the world, and that's the salon that I think that I've never seen in Ghana.
Nice.
The setup is everything is beautiful. You have the best of barbers, so make sure that you enter. Again, lastly, I have a new project out, the Respect for Zebra Crossing in
Yeah,
Ghana.
yeah. You know, we need to do unwinding about this thing
Yes.
you're doing.
Let's
Sometimes I
call me
find
on
it
phone. I'll
weird.
talk. Yes. People don't respect zebra crossing in Ghana. Doctor
Sometimes
don't
I
respect
find
it.
Oh, come on.
Are they?
Let's please.
You don't respect
You
zebra crossing.
accused the three of us.
You don't respect
Seriously.
zebra.
Why
When was
you?
the last time you stopped for pedestrians to cross? Or when was the last time you walked
For
on
me,
a zebra
I
crossing?
do. When I see school children.
Was it
I mean,
because I started the advocacy or you were doing it already?
I mean, let me tell you something. You're doing a fantastic job. Let's take it there. Kobe J, why?
So please, Cape Coast for Mr. Mo.
Okay, we need to hit the streets of
Yes,
Cape Coast one of these
driver
times.
for now or Cape Coast, you know. Okola no councillor no. Pacho, if you are driving and you see the zebra crossing demarcation, make sure you stop for pedestrians to cross. In Ghana is the only country that we don't respect zebra crossing. Those lines that are not tom-tom. Please make sure when you see the zebra crossing lines.
You know what? I need
Nigeria,
to wrap
they
up.
don't respect that. I think in Africa, I think we have to respect. So it's my new campaign.
Did you hear
I am-
that? He says the lines, the black and white lines that you see that has been, done on the road for users to use to cross, and it is not tom tom. That's the punchline for the evening. On that
God bless
tom tom
you.
note, let me say a special thank you to Ridge Royal Hotel. Central Region's fantastic place of hospitality. I mean, take it or leave it. It is. Ridge Royal Hotel is the place. Don't think about the money. Think about the ambience. Think about the good food. Think about the great service. I mean, the pool bar, the lounge, the conference and packages, the rooms, the beds. Oh, my word. It's indeed richly inviting and comfortably used. As always, visit the website www.ridgeroyalhotel.com.gh or call them on 031-2003-222. Ridge Royal Hotel is situated at 2nd Ridge, Cape Coast, few minutes drive of the Accra-Takoradi Highway and close to Fanspeem School. Richly inviting, comfortably yours. My name is Ejiba. Thank you to Adebukola, the administrator, Dr. Hamdo Pata, she's a medical doctor and a feminist, and our very own Kobiche, the blogger. He's in Cape Coast and we had to grab him to our set this evening. I'm leaving you with kitties, say cheese. Maybe we should be taking photos after the show like we always do.